Hey everyone, it's Casey. Welcome back to my channel. Today I kind of have a different video for you. I'm going to do, I don't know if it's a tag or just a video. I don't know. I'm going to tell you 25 bookish facts about myself. Some of these are going to be pretty controversial, and I'm going to start with one for my number one. I dog-ear pages. Yep. I'll do it in library books. I'll do it in my own books. I don't mind. Number two, I'm also starting with a controversial one. I believe that Gryffindor is the only true house. Yeah, I said it. Number 3, I do not understand people that claim to be in Slytherin. Why would you want to be in Slytherin? Those people are evil. I honestly don't understand that. Number 4. When I was a kid, I read a ton of series, like the Babysitters Club, the Sleepover Club, the Saddle Club. Basically, if a series had the word club in it, I was going to read it. Number 5. I think that the Twilight books are the worst books ever written. They are trash. My sister loves them. My sister is trash. No, she's not. Number 6. So I wrote this list last week. So number 6 is funny because it has changed a little bit. It's that I don't use bookmarks. Normally if it's a hardcover, I'll just use a dust jacket or I'll dog-ear the pages. But I started using bookmarks. I have these cool like magnetic Harry Potter ones. This is Neville, but I have a whole bunch of them, so I started using them. Right now I'm using Hagrid. So that one changed within a week. Who would have thought? Number 7. I do not read critically. That's why on my channel I don't really review books. I know if I liked it or if I didn't, but sometimes I don't know why. It's just a feeling I have. Yeah, and I'm not going to change. I don't want to read critically. Number 8. I read a ton of Sweet Valley books when I was a kid. Elizabeth was my favorite. Jessica was a demon and gave me so much anxiety. She would never follow the rules. Number 9, I don't get book crushes. That seems super weird to me not you personally, but for anyone to fall in love with a book character who is not real. Number 10, sometimes I get embarrassed that I primarily read YA, especially when I'm at the bookstore in the YA section. Yeah, that makes me embarrassed. Number 11, it's really difficult for me to read with noise in the background. I can do it if I have to, like at the DMV or at work or something. On my breaks at work, not just like when my boss is yelling at me to work, I'm not just reading. Anyway, but yeah, normally I can't read with like the TV on or things like that. Number 12, I read every single word of a book. I might, like, some people I know, like my mom, she can skim and like will like jump over like all the descriptions. I can't do that. I read every single word. Number 13 is kind of embarrassing. I used to think that you were supposed to crack the spine of a book. I was honestly like 25 when I realized that you weren't supposed to do that. Number 14. I used to go to a ton of author events when I lived in Kansas City. There's a really great independent bookstore there called Rainy Day Books, and they have a ton of author events. But I live in Kentucky now, where we don't have author events. Number 15. Specifically, my favorite type of book is a YA contemporary that happens during the summer. Those are the best. Number 16. If I say I want to read a classic, it's just so that I can say I've read that classic. I don't actually want to read it. I just want to be able to say that I've read it. Number 17. One of the main reasons why I like to read YA now is because I have a 13-year-old sister. So we talk about books a lot. We'll recommend books to each other. And it's also really interesting if we read the same book to talk about it, because we have very different like childhoods. So what the characters that she identifies with are very different than the characters I identify with. Number 18. Normally when I read, I take my glasses off. I'll just hold the book like 3 inches from my face. Number 19. I don't actually really care about this, but if I had to choose, I would pick a hardback over a paperback. But again, normally I get the paperbacks because they're cheaper. Number 20. I rarely read adult fiction because I find it to be super boring and super depressing. The only adult books I like are romances, but like the crappy romances, or trashy, I guess, with like the cowboys on the cover. Those are good. Specifically the cowboy ones. Number 21 is an interesting one. I don't feel the pressure to have every single book that I own. But being on BookTube does make me feel the pressure to buy books, to be able to do hauls, or to be able to hold them up, or to have a pretty background. But when I stopped doing YouTube for like 6 months over the winter time, I decluttered like almost all my books because I don't have that drive, that need to have a ton of books. I like to read a ton of books, but then I'll pass them on to people, or I'll get them from the library. Number 22, I don't like eating when I'm reading. I don't want to get the pages all messed up. I'll snack a little bit, but yeah, I'm not going to eat like a full meal while I'm reading a book. Number 23, I don't like books set in space. I don't want to read it. Number 24, I used to almost exclusively read nonfiction, and now I almost exclusively read YA. Contemporary, not YA fantasy. Set in space. Definitely not reading YA set in space. Number 25 is a big one for me. I will distrust you if you say that Catcher in the Rye is your favorite book. No one's favorite book is Catcher in the Rye. That is a terrible book. And I will think that you're lying and a deviant if you say that that's your favorite book. So, now that you know a little bit more about me, please subscribe, because I know you want to hear more of my thoughts. And listen, don't leave a comment about Slytherin, okay? You're not going to convince me. Slytherin are bad, okay? Have a great day, unless you're Slytherin, then have a terrible day. Number 11. I cannot read. Number 11. That's it. I cannot read.